Well, hey everyone, welcome back to another Wednesday evening live stream here with the Shower Door Pros. Really glad that you're able to join us this evening. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to be here. Before we get started, I just want to send out, some prayers and for our friend Chance Foreman. I think probably a lot of you know that the Foreman family has just suffered a devastating loss in their family, the loss of their little girl, Lily, only 8 years old. And I just can't imagine what they're going through today. But I know a lot of you guys are people who pray, and just send out some prayers for those guys, and I'll keep them in your thoughts.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, words just fail, to express them. Just the sadness that we're all experiencing. It's just been, this whole week has just been, I don't know. It's just hard to even believe something like that can happen. But I'll tell you what, Lily was very loved, and probably one of the most cared for kids that I've ever met in my life. Loved and cared for and taken care of, and has great parents. And so anyway, yeah, hard to move on from this, but we'll try. I know that that a lot of you have already reached out and stuff, and
Yeah, I had the opportunity of meeting her last Easter at a brunch that he was at, and real nice little girl. I mean, it was unbelievable when I heard that.
yeah. Well, I really haven't picked out a topic for this evening. I'm just kind of freestyling it like we tend to do when we don't have a speaker. We are lining up some speakers for future live streams, so we're going to have some good people come in and talk. But as for this evening, I know that I was chatting with Brandon a little bit earlier, and we were talking a little bit about what were we talking about?
Everything.
Yeah.
Financing.
Financing. Do you offer financing for customers? I mean, I think it's a great answer when a customer says, "Oh man, that's expensive," or "I don't know if I can afford that." Be able to come back and say, "Well, we offer financing."
So we offer financing at all our locations. We use a company called Hearth, and it's pretty simple. We just send it. Everything is through Hearth. We don't have to do anything. Hearth doesn't pay us. The customer still pays us. So they literally will just fill out an app, and they can get pre-qualified with no hit on their credit, because they'll do a soft pull. And if they like any of the options they give them, then they can go through with it. And then Hearth will actually wire them money, and then they'll just pay us like normal. So it has nothing to do with us, but we at least give the option for them to go through. So it's good because Hearth will try to always push, right? They'll give you multiple options. Like, well, if you need $2,500 for the shower, like that you're approved for 15,000 if you want it, right? So then they can do other stuff with it, or then they might want to go with Starfire instead of Clear if they have the option to finance. So we get a lot of pre-qualifies that come through, so it helps out. I think it's like a yearly fee we pay for Hearth, and that's it, and then it just everything goes through them. So
yeah, I put the link in the chat if anyone wants to check it out. It was pretty cool to be able to once again give something to tell customers instead of no, at least being able to meet the objection of the budget somewhere, because usually the objection to the budget was, well, sorry, but now at least we could say, well, we do offer this financing, no hard pull to your credit, sign up with them, they'll give you money for your project. And what we found that people were getting approved for $10,000, $15,000 project loans with no obligation to use us, which was cool, a cool feature. They don't have to use us, but then they also got more than what they needed for the project. So we never asked them to use us after we noticed that we get the notification of the financing. But it's awesome that they take care of all the hard part. And I'm logged into the back end of their stuff, and it's pretty simple to use. So it's not that you don't have to know a lot to get it set up, to grab their marketing materials and to find the links you need to send to your customers. In case y'all are interested about how hard it is, it really isn't.
I had a quick question. So if it's not really like going through you guys, what is your annual fee like go towards? If you're just referring the customer to them, what are you paying for?
I think it's just to use their service, and it's like I think it's like just under 2,000 or right around $2,000 a year for it. So it makes sense for us because we use it in all 5 locations from one Hearth account. So and it's just to give that option out there. And if we pushed it more, we would probably get more people to finance through it and sell more showers. We don't push it as much as we probably should push it.
So you're providing the customer the form and all the stuff in it, and then it kind of goes through.
All we do is there's a link. So we just send them a link, and then they can just click on the link, and then they're out of our stuff and they're in Hearth stuff. So it's all secure. And then they just do it all through Hearth right there. If they'll get pre-qualified or they'll get denied. We'll get an email saying they got qualified. We'll get an email saying that they were approved and then we'll get an email saying that they chose something and got money. So then we can follow back up with the customer to, move the project forward. So.
Yeah, and I've seen
you get your own dashboard.
Yeah, I've seen the different. Yeah, I'm in the dashboard now. You can see how many people were referred and how not. And the marketing, the material they provide is the way we did it was here's a link, and we know whenever they go to it what it's going to open up. But they also give you little things to put on your website, your widget, like find out what your possible estimate would be, possible fund would be from this little calculator. They just input 4 things into that little thing on your site. So they have cool tools. We haven't utilized them. If you look at any of our pages, you'll see they aren't there. Like Brandon said, we haven't really pushed it, but that was something we wanted to at least start offering.
Do they take a fee from you guys, or is that just pretty much through
it's all through the customer? So they offer, actually you can get really strategic with it because they offer a credit card too. And they offer like a credit card for people who have really good credit. If you go with their credit card for 18 months of no interest or something like that. So you can legitimately market interest-free financing for 18 months upon approval and stuff like that. So it's pretty sweet because it's easy to go through their little sheet and see if you get pre-approved with no obligation to, purchase or anything. So.
I think what I'm hung up on is the fact that you have to pay to use their service. That's fine, but you're doing all their marketing and they get the benefit of it. I mean, you get the benefit to be able to use to be able to gain another customer maybe,
right.
But you're paying them to do their marketing and they get the loan and they get the money out of it. That seems odd.
I mean, or you don't use it and then you don't offer their financing. That's the thing. It's like it's just right. a tool, right? We pay for tools. So it's just another tool that's out there. But yeah, you're right. We are we are essentially doing the marketing for them, bringing them customers to be able to make that interest off it. But in turn,
Right.
let's close more deals because hopefully close more deals because we're offering financing. So
Right.
not sure on the pros and cons if it weighs out, but we've used it for the last couple of years and it seems to be working out because we've had tough customers that maybe don't want to bite the bullet, and times are getting tough right now. So people are going to start maybe financing more stuff than using cash.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'll say from the beginning though, I'm debt averse. So anytime it comes to debt, I don't like it for myself anyway. I prefer it if my customers just pay cash or
Yeah.
check versus credit card. But I mean, I don't make decisions for them, of course.
We
but,
all like cash.
Anyway, I'll take cash.
I'm the same
Absolutely.
way. I'm the same way. I hate debt, unless it's good debt. But yeah, most people live off credit cards and stuff
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah, it's a reality.
Yeah.
I like their
Well-
business. I like their business model.
Mhm.
We ought to, like, C.R. Lawrence and FHC ought to pay us for the privilege of bringing a customer to them.
Mhm.
It's almost the same concept, right? They should
Right.
pay, FHC and CRL should be paying us a yearly fee. And then all these customers we get, we just bring to them and they're making the money on the hardware. I like that. I like that.
That's
Gotta look
great.
into that.
Right. Well, that's kind of like why if you buy in volume, you get more of a discount, right? Because you are
Yeah.
kind of being rewarded for
Yes,
bringing in more sales.
Right.
true. But we didn't get the upfront fee.
Yeah, I like. Yeah,
The yearly fee is the one that intrigues me.
I'm liking that too.
I think the biggest thing is why we chose to go with them because I mean a lot of people offer financing, right? And a lot of it's through like Wells Fargo if you go to buy appliances or flooring and stuff. Wells Fargo does a lot of that, but our ticket prices are so small. So no one really wants to mess with financing for us with small ticket prices. So this was an option for us to go that really we didn't have to worry too much about it. We paid the fee and then it's just if they want to use financing, they can use financing.
Just for yucks, do you know what the finance company charges the customer for a percentage rate?
It varies. It's like I said, it's either from 0 to whatever. So it just depends on their
I didn't
thing.
want to, but I put the link in the chat of our application, so I'll probably get a flood of false things because y'all are probably going to try it out. But go ahead, have at it. I'll just put a warning in my logs to delete everything that happened in this next 2 hours. But yeah, you'll see how you can click it. They can put their payment ratio, what they make per month, all the information kind of the loan would take, but these people just give us a cool little tool for the customer to go through the experience and get an idea and
Sure.
get the approval beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're paying for is just the ability just to turn them over and not have to do any of the work. I mean, to be able to have someone come in who says, "Yeah, I don't have the money to pay for that," and to be able to say to them, "Oh, we can hook you up right now. Here's the link," and then that's all you have to do. There's nothing else our company has to do to follow up.
Right.
So it's just handing them off like that seamlessly. Whereas I think if you try to do some like in-house financing, that would probably be quite.
Then you become the debtors and the debt chasers.
Yeah.
And the one cool thing we didn't realize is
Yeah.
by them getting a larger loan than what they need from us, they're getting the ability to get the upgrades they wouldn't have gotten initially. The Starfire versus the Clear, or possibly the Mirror also, that wasn't in their budget, but now that they see they got this loan they weren't planning on, now they want it.
It's
That
good
was-
for we're always trying to overcome objections, right? So it's good for objections. So we get a lot of, oh, you know what? I was just shopping. I didn't realize how much it was going to be. It's out of my budget. Oh, well, hey, we offer financing. So
Yeah.
and we sold so many like that.
And if you close 10 extra deals a year,
Yeah.
like let's say you're paying $2,000, you close 10 extra deals a year. So you're paying like $200 to close each deal. But we all know that like that's just like the cost per acquisition, right? It's like once you've got that customer, there's no limit to how much stuff you can sell that customer. How many of our customers are affluent people who own multiple homes, or are contractors, that have, many jobs. So yeah, I mean, it's worth it to get a new customer, I think.
And for like I was saying, for us, like it's $2,000 and for 5 locations. Like it's not like it's $2,000 per location. So it goes a long way for us with the multiple locations. It makes sense.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah. So that's all about financing.
There you go. It's everything I know about it.
So your customer gets approved through Hearth, and then Hearth sends them the money and they send you the money. So there's no direct.
Yeah, so
correlation between-
technically they can get the loan and just go buy glass from someone else if they really wanted to, but we're at least giving them that option, right? And that way we're not tied to the credit
Yeah.
company. So
I got you.
right, they wire it to them within 24 hours. So, and the cool thing is like they have stuff on their site. Like they try to get you, obviously Hearth is trying to make money, right? So they have a credit card processor. Oh, well, you can just finish everything in Hearth once you're in, and once they get financed, you can say, okay, pay your 50% deposit through here, and it sends them all this, and then they pay, and then they get the finance fee and everything, the charge. But that's not how we operate. We just get financed through them and pay us direct. Like we're not going to go through Hearth for all that, but you can follow up with your customer when they get pre-approved, and kind of just keeps that lead warm. So
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
They don't take a percentage for you, do they?
they don't.
Sorry, Mark. Okay.
Oh, I was just saying, it's probably a good idea to kind of distance yourself between, you know what I mean, to keep that
Right.
to keep that buffer there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you don't have to be the one who has to go collect or keep the books or anything like that. You still get paid, in cash for all intents and purposes. They get their loan, and who knows, maybe they'll want some glass railing.
I mean, it would be nice if Hearth just paid us the full amount up front, and then we did the shower, and then we didn't have to worry about collecting from anyone, because they're going to pay us. But they don't do it like that.
There are other companies other than Hearth that will do it that way.
Yeah.
So how about you, Bill? I mean, do you guys provide financing?
We used to. We found it was less than 1% of the business that we had that even required or asked for it. So we stopped doing it. Not that it was bad, it worked out really well, but we just didn't have enough. We didn't have as many objections about that.
Yeah.
Right. The prices have come down from where we first started to. I was looking over the years from what we were charging for door notch panel returns. And with the competition and the fact that we can do it ourselves, prices have come down a lot. So it's not as out of price as it used to be. And I think wages have gone up also for most people so that they can afford more. Frameless doors used to be just for the elite, right? And I mean, we're talking 15 years ago. Now, track homes are putting them in.
It's the standard.
It's opened up the market tremendously. Guys like Brandon and myself are looking at, wine closets, railing systems, humidors, things like that you can make with the same type of glass and hardware, trophy cases, that type of thing. And they're great add-ons. So when you're doing a big home, you can give them those options.
Yeah, that's interesting, because when there was that big price increase, I think that was last year.
Yeah.
People pointed out that, glass really hadn't gone up much at all in a long time. So, I mean, that was the first really major increase in glass in years, So, I mean, you're right. I mean, really, compared to other things, glass has really not gone up all that much. And what used to be, like you're saying, Bill, frameless shower doors used to be just for rich people, now it's like the average person can pretty much afford it.
Yeah.
When I noticed they were becoming mainstream was when I started seeing them in shampoo commercials.
Interesting.
I was like, oh yeah, look, like the soap commercials, they were like showing frameless shower doors. It's like, oh wow, look, frameless shower doors are mainstream now.
Yeah, it's in all the hotels now, or for the most part, all the high-end hotels are frameless doors.
Mhm.
Years ago, that wasn't the case. It was just a curtain. Then it went to that bended shower curtain. It kind of went out and around. That was the
Yeah.
trend for a while, but now it's generally a door and a fixed panel, or door notch panel return with a towel bar in the door.
Mhm.
I don't know how many guys do hospitality divisions, but man, that's a good market if you can get into it.
Yeah, we do some. That's bread and butter right there.
It is. It's really good. And generally when you're remodeling rooms, they're only doing 5 to 10 rooms at a time. So it's not like you got to do the whole hotel. They're going to go in and change the tile and all. So, you've got time in between and you can work it out. And especially the ones that are remodeling, because the air conditioning is still working in there. And it's not like a brand new construction where you got OSHA guys running all over you.
Right.
It's a better working environment. Parking lots are paved. You can drive the truck up to a loading dock. The elevators are generally working. So many more advantages. That's such a nice market to go after for those existing hotels that are going through remodeling.
Well, I think we talked about this one other occasion. We've done several hotels, but it seems like one we did 97 doors, but they bought everything from Dreamline. They were running more of a labor rate, install. And
Yeah.
if the math works out, we've done them and it worked out. But a lot of those guys will ask me for a quote for the enclosure, and then they come back later and go, well, would you just charge us to put them all in because we're going to get them from Dreamline. That creates its own issues because nothing's, those are all plumb and square, obviously, and the glass is, not the enclosure.
So how deeply you want to go into the weeds with this is because you can look at the specifications for the job and see what they require, because a lot of the Dreamline glass is made in China and some of it is not certified by the ANSA standards that are required. So take a look at the tempering stamp on the Dreamline glass, see what certification it has, and see if it passes what the architect is specifying for that job. Just because the contractor goes out of the way and buys them from Dreamline doesn't mean that it meets the spec.
Mhm.
Sometimes when you bring that up to them, they'll listen to you and say, okay, you got a point there.
Yeah.
We had a
Michael, if you offered them financing,
Yeah.
we
Can I
had
ask you? Oh, go ahead.
we had a contractor that had like 137 skylines that were installed by a commercial glazing company that did the shell, and they messed them all up. So we got pulled into this job and they're like, can you repair these? So I was like, yeah, I can repair them, but they're probably going to have to replace things on a lot of them or whatever. And obviously that was my contract. Like, yeah, we would pull them out and put them back in, but magically all the bars were pretty much bent and we had to order all new hardware and everything and new panels and stuff. And we made it worth our while, right, to pull them out and put them back in, but just got creative with it. So made sure it was in our contract that, there could be damage on the stuff. So
the beauty of doing hotels is, their biggest profit maker is renting the room out, right? So it's important to have doors in those units so that they can rent the rooms out. But their cash flow is dependent upon renting rooms, people making room service, ordering food, drinks downstairs at the lobby. They need to get people in those rooms. So if something goes wrong with those doors, they're losing money if they can't rent that room out. They'll pay almost anything for quick service and get that door back in service. That's why it's a good thing. The average homeowner, if they have an extra bathroom, they're not going to be in as much of a rush as the hotels will. And the hotels will pay quickly. They
Bill,
gotta get.
I know you're talking about remodels and everything, but like in your area, like how do the unions get involved with the remodels, or do they usually privatize that stuff?
I've got 0 unions in Florida. 0.
We're
So
in
right-
Boston, so
so-
like
Yeah,
tend to like
depends on where you're
unions.
at, for sure.
I'd say Oasis is all over that, Mike, because
Yeah, I know that.
you got union certified. It's just a sham, but that's the way it is. Yeah, I have zero unions to deal with here, but we're dealing with contractors that sometimes try and bypass the architect, or architects that specify doors that really shouldn't be specified. So it's an education process. Even though they're the architect, they don't really know everything about shower doors. A lot of them are good and they're smart, but they take the easy road and just find a product and spec it without understanding where the glass is made and what certification has been put into that glass.
Yeah.
You know, someday, Chris, we should do a topic on what the SGCC certification looks like on the glass, what the numbers stand for, how the guys can verify that the glass that they're getting from their supplier is certified for these type of jobs.
How about how about a week from Wednesday? You'd be our guest speaker and talk about that for us.
Yeah, let me see. I'm going away a couple of weeks.
All right. Yeah, let's line that up.
But-
Come and be our
But
guest speaker.
I'll let you know when. And what I'll
All
do
right.
in advance is send you some videos of what we do every day to test the glass,
That'd be cool.
to make sure that it fits within the tempering guidelines.
Yeah.
But that's
That'd be a good
really
topic.
important.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And
I would
Christina.
second that.
Christina, I know you want to say something.
I am. I'm sorry. I
No,
have a really
no, please
tough
go ahead.
question for you all who know things and have been around the block. It can get tight here. We have a huge rush right now. I don't know why or what's changed, but the economy could get a little bit tight here. And I was thinking the other day, what would it take for you all in your businesses to be willing to install a Dreamline shower door for a customer?
Ooh, what would it take?
Or is there enough that you would never do it? Or who's in the camp that they would never do it? Who's in the camp that if it got tight, they would, what are those considerations that you all have, and what kind of money would you be looking at for something like that?
You know, there's a lot of answers to that. And it's a really good question because, again, we've got businesses here of all different sizes, but
Right.
Keith answered that maybe a couple of months ago. Sometimes we do it just to help the contractor, knowing that it's going to lead to another job where Dreamline's not in the picture. But it also depends on who did the measuring, who's taking responsibility. If it's cracked, broken in parts missing, who's taking all that responsibility? Are you going to get paid anyhow if you go out to install it and it's not even the right door for the right place? So many factors involved.
Well, that's right. And that's why I was thinking about this the other day, because I was measuring a job and, the guy said, well, I already bought this Dreamline shower. I thought you guys could install it. And of course, it was one of those situations our receptionist had asked the question. He bought it anyway. It was a whole thing. But, he has a 62-inch opening. He has a 60-inch Dreamline. It's not going to work. He's going to try to make it work. It's just one of those things. And he's got a 1/2-inch outage on one wall. It's kind of a K-cut situation. It's really going to be bad news, but I feel bad for the guy, and I was considering, what would it take? What would it take for us to do that? And I just don't know the answer to that. I just figured I would ask you guys.
I got an answer. Taillights. That's all you need to do. Pull out and go. That's what I would go.
Tail lights.
Taillights. Red lights, and that's it. Boom. Gas. Pedal, gas, let's go.
Christina, when I've had customers that have bought it, we talked last week quickly how Costco is coming out with the Kohler doors. And we've had customers, and one of the answers that we use is, you are so lucky that you bought that Dreamline because they have the best return policy.
Yeah.
There is there is no questions asked. You don't even have to feel bad about it. That's their policy. And it's true. Because people are trying to order them online with those same situations you're talking about. or the walls are bowed, the doors just aren't going to work. I mean, you can look at it and say, did you order it with the intention of that big gap there so you can pass the soap in and out to somebody on the outside, or they can pass the towel through that opening to get to you? Because, I mean, it's just not going to work. And, I mean, you could say that about the return policy, because that's really not a slam on them. It's just, it's not the right door for the right application. To put you in the middle of that is awkward.
It is
Now,
awkward. Well,
but you were already in the house and he knew that, or do you have others for you to measure? Other showers in the same house?
I was already in the house measuring, and he said, well, I thought you could install this streamlined shower, and it's not, it would, I hate it, but buyers are liars. And I know, I hear our receptionist in the other room. She is on top of it. She has her little script that she says every single time, and she's consistent.
Yeah.
And I know that she asked this man, like, what his situation was. And I know that this conversation has been had. And
do you record your phones? Do you record your incoming phone calls?
We do not.
You don't?
Honestly, I would pass on the job, not even just because it would be something that we didn't provide, but I'm already being lied to by the customer. So you already got me on the wrong foot. So if this is not going to be, I don't feel like it's going to get better. Like, he kind of duped you into getting you into the house. I already got a bad taste in my mouth over the whole transaction. So because if it goes bad, or it's not a perfect install, you're not getting paid. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the type of customer that I'd want to do business with.
Yeah. Christina, go back to the other thing though. If the economy turns bad and you've got guys that you got to keep busy, other than that, they're cleaning trucks and sweeping floors. Yeah, you're going to make some money, right? You're going to use it, but I wouldn't give it away cheaply.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of work involved. You're taking on a huge risk. I mean, just scratching the door. Do you realize that if you chip or break a panel and you got to replace that panel, your supplier may not be able to have the same glass. So the coloring of the glass may not be the same. We notice that in the shop if you get it from different vendors.
Oh yeah, we had that HMI issue, which I think was brief. I really hate to trash HMI. They seem fine, but
and the edge work's not going to match. Nothing's going to match.
Yeah, a lot of it won't.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't care about a 2-inch gap, I guess he doesn't care about that either. But if something happened, yeah, you're on the hook for it. So you've got to charge well for it. It's not like it's easy money. It's not.
Right. Well, and not only that, our guys aren't used to it. They'll figure it out. They're great. They know how systems work, but it's not what they're used to. So, but even if you had the right door, right? Even if say the wall conditions were fine, the curb is pitched properly, he has the right size door, what would it take? What would it take for you guys to do that?
We don't unless, you're doing 5 other doors in the house and this is one that somebody gave it to him as a gift, right? Or whatever. There's some kind of an answer there. Yeah, okay. I guess we would do it, but our policy is no.
Okay. Okay.
That's our policy.
Yeah, ours will probably always be that, but it just tight economy. Thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to educate your customer at that point, though, too, because a lot of people don't realize that, these are not man-made materials. Most of them are natural materials. Tile is, but the structure behind it with the 2x4s, they move. They're bowed. The framer didn't care when he put it in, but it's bowed. One's bowed one way, one's bowed the other, whatever. But people don't realize that. They just assume that the walls are plumb, I guess, is what they would say. And everything is level and plumb. Well, nothing is level and plumb in our world. And so I think I would use that as an opportunity to explain to them when they have a bow in the wall, is your shower that you just bought, this nice Dreamline, is this accounting for that bow in the wall? And just kind of break it down that way and educate, I guess, as you go, because that may sway them to Bill's answer, which is, hey, you picked a great shower for returning it. They have a great return policy. And so, just educating may get you a full purchase on your glass, not theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a new sale opportunity right there.
Oh, yeah, you guys are lucky. You guys, I have a neighbor that has one and keeps on bugging me to install one. I got to see him every day I go home. And I keep ignoring him every day. But his walls are terribly bad and bowed and terrible. And they don't understand it won't fit. But what you said, I charge. I mean, I've done my share, and I charge $1,200 to install a Dreamline. If they want it, good. If they don't, then I'm making money. I'm not gonna. It's my knowledge and my experience is not free, and I'm not gonna give away for cheap.
Yeah, there you go.
$1,200. It covers a lot.
Yeah. It's enough to where if something goes wrong, you could buy a new unit.
Yeah.
Still
exactly.
not lose money at least,
or return it, like Bill says, or return it.
Yeah, return it.
So
you can only return it if you don't break it first.
You can have them return it and say, if they charge you a restocking fee, I'll even pay that restocking fee for you. Take everything out of it, but Dreamline doesn't, and Kohler and Costco, they do not have a restocking fee. Sometimes Home Depot does if the box is opened. Not really sure. I guess it depends who you get on your customer service counter on that particular day.
Parallel question.
Dreamline's not the worst manufactured enclosure out there. I mean, I've seen like way worse. So I've installed a couple of those like way back, and they're decent, I mean, like you say, I mean, if the opening is square, it'll work. It's fine, but yeah, I don't want to do it.
Let's say it gets tight economically and everybody's budgets are a little bit lower. We were talking about financing, but maybe they want a different option that's like a kit. So what if we offered Dreamline as a product that we purchase and we install based on measurements we've taken, knowing that the space is a good candidate for it? Has anybody done that?
Dreamline offers dealerships. You can contact them if they don't have a dealership in your area. Yes, you could become an installing dealer. Keep in mind, they weren't doing custom cuts, so they were filling gaps with lots of gaskets.
Yeah.
But
gaskets.
Again, the average homeowner doesn't know the difference because they haven't seen the difference. You could do that.
So they're actually
an authorized dealer for them.
Dreamline is actually part of Arizona Shower Door now as well.
I did hear that.
Who bought who?
Actually, American Bath Group owns them all.
Yeah.
I think Dreamline bought Arizona Shower Door, and then American Bath Group bought them.
Yeah, American Bath Group is like a private equity group.
Yeah.
Or that I think they own was that Pearl or Swan, the tub manufacturers as well.
Oh yeah.
And Swan Stone
or whatever.
The countertops. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an equity group putting up a lot of remodeling and building material things. So yeah, they acquired both of them.
Yeah, I think most of us probably install some what I call like manufactured enclosures, right? So if you're going to do like a tub enclosure, like a 1/4-inch enclosure or something, you're probably buying that from somebody and just installing it. So it's like, so I don't see what the difference would be if it was a Dreamline product. We used to, back in the old days, used to do those what do you call them, stick stall, whatever they call them, different things, knockdowns, like hinge, panel, door, torn hinge panel, whatever. And we get them from like Wardrobe and Bath Specialties here out of Modesto. Have a pretty good product. So we just buy those and put them in. So I don't see, you know, how it'd be any different than that.
Right. Their quality.
As long as you have a hotline to them for parts.
That's it. I mean, you got to have great customer service. And like with this company I'm talking about, WBS, they've always been like great, really, really good service, good, you know, good quality products. If there's a problem, they fix it, you know. So if you've got that, you can do it, you know. But I just found that it was hard to, you know, you couldn't really charge any less for a manufactured enclosure. I mean, it's like by the time you pay for the materials, and then it takes longer to install than a frameless one, actually.
No.
In my experience. So it's like, well, what are you going to do? You got to charge them the same amount, or pretty close at least.
Sense, yeah.
So I mean, you're not saving any money.
I'm finding that now, particularly with the price of aluminum going up, and our pricing for some of our manufactured units has gone through the roof. I guess as far as quality goes with these kits, knockdown units, manufactured units, do you all do a different warranty on things like that?
Tail lights.
Tail light.
Okay, all right. Thought I'd ask. You're just curious.
The manufacturers usually have like some kind of a like warranty. It's usually like about 3 years or something on materials. And then just whatever, you know, your normal like workmanship warranty would be. I guess.
WBS.
All right, that's all. Sorry, I'll leave you guys alone.
No, that's a good question. I mean, it's something that goes around. And I mean, I think we all have different opinions. Well, we all have pretty similar opinions.
I think it all comes down to just how big your company is. If you get in that stage where you are hurting and guys need to work, then absolutely you would probably take work to stay afloat, right? And just to keep your company going. So it's one of those things where you don't want to, you know, step over $1 for a dime if you're busy doing frameless showers to do frame showers.
Right, of course, yeah. And we are super busy right now, but I just don't know what's going to happen.
And don't feel bad if you do. I mean, we're not going to shower shame you or anything.
No, during COVID, I started running ads for the plexiglass. People wanted them. People were calling us for them. I started getting with suppliers and servicing what the people wanted. And all of a sudden, that's what we had to know how to do, because just to not accepting the checks that they were trying to hand us. We're like, no, we'll get work at whatever it comes, whatever they call for. Like, we're open. And that's what we did for a long time. So when the rubber hits the road, of course, we might go back on a few of the words we say now, but preferably never again. No, we don't do it.
I mean, I think just generally being in business, you always have to adapt. I mean, and it's always going to be, there's going to be an exception made for a contractor. There's going to be an exception made for a past customer. How deep you're going to allow that exception to be is going to be based on granted, to the size of your company or whatever. But I mean, you know, adapting to the current situation is just never going to be something that we're not going to have to do.
One of our adaptability is one of our core values.
That's right. Adaptability.
That's great. Well, and again, like Bill said, setting those expectations is all it's about at a certain point. I mean, customers are really receptive to expectations.
Christina, one of the things you may have missed last week, and we had talked about this, is if you start having your guys do that, you're opening up yourselves for those guys to start doing Dreamline doors on the side. They go out on Saturdays and they're running a side business. Then somehow it gets back to you, and then you got hard feelings. It's going to open up a lot of other situations. Just be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're opening
I hadn't
up.
considered that. That's a great point.
So it's opening up all sorts of awkwardness.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't mind, I kind of came on here earlier with a question, and I didn't expect it to fit so well, but what does any, I mean, I assume a lot of you guys take credit cards like we do. Is anybody adding service fees or service, whatever? I mean, it just seems to be becoming a bigger and bigger thing in more and more industries at 3%, or, whatever everybody's doing, a courtesy charge, whatever they call it. Or are you just taking the hit?
We pass it on to the customer, Mike. And I've struggled with that too, but we tell everybody it's 3.5% in my market. And I just tell the customers, if you're going to pay with a credit card, there's a fee associated with it. And I passed it through.
Did you get pushback when you started doing that? Or is it just, it's almost generally accepted these days, I feel like,
I think it is more. We've had just very, very little pushback. I think it is generally accepted. It happens to me all the time too. There's signs and windows where I go that tell you up front that's what it's going to be. I know Billy Britt was on here one time, and he doesn't pass it on to the customer. He doesn't want to. He just wants to keep the wheel rolling, right, and not have any pushback. But our fees, was it 2 years ago? Our fees were $30,000 or $35,000 in credit card fees, and I thought that was too much to eat. So we passed it on. I get very little pushback.
It's good to know. It's good to know, because I've had a couple of other companies, local companies in the area. I talked to a lot of people, and we've been having discussions, and some people are starting to think about implementing it. And I don't know. It's one of those things that it's been in my mind a long time, but I never really, you look at the numbers at the end of the year, and you're like, that's a lot of money. So something that we're going to start thinking about.
We did that. We were doing, checks, cash, Zelle, Venmo, back in the day, and that just became way too much, especially during COVID, and we were booming and we just couldn't handle it. So credit cards made sense, and we did the fees. But we got so much pushback in our market for doing fees that we had to just build it into our pricing so that our receptionist wouldn't lose her mind.
Same
and
thing.
So, but we don't accept Amex. But the problem with that is that's the new Delta credit card of choice, I guess. In Atlanta, that's a big deal. So a lot of our customers have Amex cards, and they get mad at us about that. And it's like, you just kind of can't win in some ways. So we just build it into our pricing at this point, but we still don't accept Amex.
We did we had it, we weren't charging for it, and then we started charging for it. And you got to be careful, because some states you're not allowed to charge a processing fee. It's actually illegal to charge a processing fee. You can look it up online and list all the states you're allowed to. So you got to get creative with the wording and stuff on what the fee is for.
Yeah, I look at it, and I know Massachusetts has its own laws and stuff, but if I'm paying cities or states, even paying the state, they're doing it to me. So it's
right.
they have their own way of doing it.
So we got a lot of kickback from it, but they would still pay it. We just get flack for it that they're like, really paying a 3% fee. But then we just raised our prices 3%, and we had no issue. We actually made more money doing that, because then everyone just paid it. If they're paying with check or not, it still went up 3%. So we just rolled it in that way, and then we just had no issues with it anymore.
Yeah, I did the same thing. So what's the problem with taking Amex?
They charge more.
The higher fee.
Just depends on your processor. We pay an average of 2 point something for all cards.
Are you able to pull the breakdown of dollar amount and credit card type? Because when I pull that, I can see what the back end fees are.
Yeah,
and it's 5.7% on Stripe.
Yeah,
oh wow,
Stripe's high. That's crazy.
high.
You gotta
have Amex.
You gotta be able to have B2B optimization too, because if it's a business credit card, you should be getting cheaper rates than if it's a personal credit card as well. So if Stripe doesn't have, I don't remember if they do or not, we used to use them, but if the company doesn't have B2B optimization, you're paying more on credit cards for builders or whoever is using a business credit card than you should. So
I'll look into that. It's our integration with Smart Builder. And I know there's a lot of caveats to that. So I'll have to look into that, but that's good to know.
Yeah, one thing about American Express that I know is that the only chargeback I've ever had, ever since I've been in business, was an American Express card. I did the work and it was done properly and correctly and on time and everything 100%. And they used American Express to take the money back. So they ripped me off.
Yeah.
And like they can totally, that's one thing that you can do. If you've got an American Express card, you can totally rip off your vendor because they just will side with them. You have no recourse whatsoever. And I think that's one of the reasons a lot of people won't take Amex, because they're just ruthless.
Did they not give you a chance to say your side?
Nope.
Really?
No, they didn't care. They just
Wow.
took the money back. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. Here, I've got photos. I got everything. I got invoices. I got signatures. I got everything. They didn't even want to hear it.
We've had that happen with multiple different cards like Discover or even MasterCard. We actually had a lady that did a chargeback. She was a designer. She ordered a acid etched 1/2-inch tabletop, and we showed her samples of Starfire frosted and regular frosted, and she didn't want to pay the extra for the white, and she got it. And so she did a chargeback because she didn't like the tabletop. And we said, look, here it is. She actually went on one of the garage sale groups on Facebook and was selling the piece of glass that we sold her. After she did a chargeback, she was trying to sell it. And I sent pictures in of her trying to sell it after the chargeback and everything. And we still lost. So I'm suing her.
It's like that.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. We installed a shower for a contractor, and he just blew us off. He blew off. It was like $1,500, and he checks in the mail, blah blah. So we ended up running his card for the balance, which is kind of in our terms, anyways, that we're going to do that, if you know what I mean. But he disputed it, saying it was fraudulent. I did everything that you guys did. We sent in the invoices. I sent in, blacked out things from my vendor saying this is where it went, the calendar, everything. They gave him his money back. They still give him his money back. So I did the same thing that Brandon just did. I sued him. I won in court. And then you got to chase him around. It's over $1,500, but it's not even the money. It's just it's
At this point, right?
Sometimes you
It's
just
the
take
principle.
it. You just start taking stuff personally. When people are like out to just literally screw you, you start taking stuff personally.
You can't show up to people's houses with a gun anymore.
Yeah, no.
That is frowned upon.
And you can't repo the shower either.
Right. Thought about it.
I maybe shouldn't say this, but Brad will go over to somebody's house, not with a gun at all, but he will knock on a door and be like, hi, you haven't answered my emails. And he's just like this sweet little old man asking like, hey, did you get my email? And then they're all embarrassed, of course, and they can't say anything to your face. And then they end up paying. It's pretty great. It's very bold.
Nice. Yeah, I'll send my wife over. Send my wife over with some cookies. Boy, that'll teach them.
Adrian will send his little brother over to take care of him.
Yeah, that's right.
Adrian's little brother, yeah.
No, there's 3 of us. We're all 6 foot tall, so yeah. Both my brothers are taller than me.
Yeah.
So you guys met Junior. He ain't no small guy.
Oh yeah.
And then my other brother, Emmanuel, he's taller than that. So, and he's a little bit more built because he's in the army. Well, he used to, but yeah.
So you're the little guy of the group, huh?
Yeah, it was not like that for a while, and then all of a sudden they sprout up. Like, dang, I'm the short one now.
You must have never been stiffed on any of your jobs.
Oh no, there's a few times we went to. Nah. Shoot, I'll sit there and wait until they pay me. I'll take off a handle. I don't care what the laws are. I don't care. I'll take off a handle. I'll freaking take off the door and go with it. I don't care. So I've done that a few times. So
Repossess it.
Yep. Because hey, if you owe a bank some money for your car, they'll go right in your driveway and yank your car out and take it. What's the difference, from us? Should be able to do the same thing.
I will say, backing up real fast as an aside, we had a couple customers who didn't remember they bought a shower door maybe, or something with a deposit. And so they'll dispute a deposit, and we haven't installed the shower, but like the glass is being cut, or it's even at our warehouse and scheduled. And that's happened twice. But Stripe believed us both times. We sent them everything. And so Stripe has been a really wonderful payment processor, all things considered. Would recommend.
Christina, we've had that where they disputed it, and come to find out the original credit cards that we had that were processed, they didn't understand the name of the company. It didn't come through as the name of our company. It came through differently. So it looked different to them. So they didn't really dispute it on us. They disputed the charge because they didn't understand that it was us. Once we talked to them, it cleared. So we had to go back to the processor and have them change the way it shows up on their statement.
Yep, we've had the same thing.
Yeah, I've had charges myself where I was like, hey, what's this?
Exactly.
I didn't recognize it. It's like, oh, wait, okay. Now I remember.
It's just the name, the corporate name, just something else that they use, where they should say, what's the DBA name, and show that so the customer knows that it matches up to the company they did business with.
I will say it's a small bug, but it is a bug that affects us in Smart Builder, and that's the problem with the integration with Stripe. The quote number shows up. So instead of shower door guy, no matter what I tell Stripe to put on there, Smart Builder puts QTE and then the quote ID, and people have no idea what that is, and that looks like fake. So we've had a few disputes.
I didn't do business with QTE. Who is that? Yeah.
Right. It's like, why is Quick Trip taking $2,000? It's like, I get that.
I think the only thing you can do at that point is just tell every customer here, and maybe even put it in writing, here is what the charge is going to look like on your statement, and at least try to pre-flight the customer that way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Look for QTE.
So hopefully Smart Builder will fix that soon. I've been all over them about it. So
any day now, that's going to get.
See, they're Smart Builder, they're not Smart Charger.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything's smart now. Smart phones, smart meters, smart.
Have you seen the new Apple freaking headset is insane?
I heard about it. What is it? It's like $3,000 or something, isn't it?
$3,500, but it's like brings everything, like you can put your Mac in it, so you can make your screen as big as you want, or you can watch a movie as big as you want, everything dark around you. You can see your room with it. It's crazy. It's
Spy Kids. It's like.
Are you talking about their Oculus?
Yeah, the new Apple one.
Yeah. I heard it was phenomenal. It blends reality with the virtual, so that if you're in a room, you're getting a lot of the aspects of the room that you're looking at, and then it lays over the
you can have like
artificial intelligence over that.
You can open up like all your apps and everything. Like you can open up your MacBook and make your screen however big you want it, and have different apps running at different times in different areas of the room that you want, and touch them and work and all that stuff.
That's cool.
That's spy stuff.
Like Minority Report, right?
Minority Report. That's what I was just thinking about. Oh man,
yeah,
that's spooky, man.
Sounds like a project we should put Robert on.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've been in it. I've had fun with the Oculus for the past year, and I've had work days in my VR where I'm in the virtual office with other people, just so it's weird. But and now augmented reality is what they call that. So in our apps, like augmented is when they put the virtual aspects of what we want over the actual reality of our world. Virtual is when we're completely immersed, and augmented is the cool shit like the app Brandon might have talked about, WannaKicks. You download the app on your phone, pick shoes you want, hover your camera over your shoes, and now you can see how the actual shoes will look on your feet before you actually go somewhere. So all these businesses are coming out with ways to play with AR in our actual lives, and it's becoming real cool. And we have that power in our businesses. Facebook developer on the back end, I've already built using the 3D shower models, an actual version of you build the app, you let your customers download the app, and then they can hover the camera in their room and see your shower, that the PDF that you had someone draw, whatever you call those little 3D diagrams, in their house. So I've already built that and done it with like a fake shower that I downloaded online that someone else built, because it's a lot of work, but it's already here for us to do and play with. It's really dope. But if y'all want to see anything specific, let me know and I will take the challenge.
You're giving away our trade secrets.
I'm sorry. They call
Try to
it-
catch up.
Brandon, he
Try
said
to catch
We
up.
already did that 2 years ago.
I've already wrote it down.
Yeah, that's right.
it's a lot of
Right
work.
on, right on. Well, hey, everybody, that's all the time we've got for this evening's live stream. But thanks for coming, and be sure to come back again next Wednesday for more fun.